Hi all and welcome to my channel. My name is Shani Alexis. Please subscribe. This is actually my first video, but there's going to be a lot more fun stuff to come. A lot of my videos are just going to be tips and things I've learned throughout my life to help you so you can learn from my mistakes and not have to make the mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes I've made is killing my dear precious plants. I am a plant mother and it's something that I take a lot of pride in and I really enjoy. And I think it just kind of gives you, it's like when I got a dog, it gave me like a sense of purpose, and it makes my apartment, you know, us millennials, zillennials, whatever we are, we live in these stuffy apartments and sometimes it makes us feel more alive to have indoor plants. So here are 6 tips to help keep your indoor plants alive. First, they need the correct potting mix. This was something that I learned more recently actually. There are 3 types of soil. There is sand, silt, and clay, and a lot of times you need a combo of all 3 of those for your plants. It really just depends what kind of plant you have. So if you have a little cute cactus like this, you will want to make sure you've got some sand in there or a cactus mix, because these are cactuses like their soil to be dry, so you don't want just regular soil that holds a lot of moisture. Otherwise you're going to have some rotting at the root, and no one likes root rot. I don't want my roots to rot, like, ugh. Another thing you want to make sure of when you use soil is that you're not taking soil from the yard, because it can actually have bacteria in there and kill your plant. So go to your local garden store and get the correct soil. They're there to help. They love plants. That's why they work there, I hope. Anyway, I hope they like their job, you know. But so the second tip, number 2, is does your plant have enough humidity? If you have more tropical plants like an air plant or other plants that require a little bit more humidity like the ivy, you want to make sure that you're actually spraying them with water. So I'll just go in every day or every other day and just kind of spritz it. Same with my air plant. I actually also soak my air plant for about 5 minutes every week, but this just helps to make sure they're getting enough humidity, because a lot of our houses are really dry, especially in the winter time. And another thing you can do if you have plants that require more humidity, and it just takes a quick Google search. So this video is just more quick tips to what might be happening to why you keep having plants dying. But you'll want to go back and specifically if you think, oh, you know, maybe one of my plants needs more humidity, you just Google, does the snake plant need humidity? Like things like that. Snake plant doesn't really need a lot of humidity. They're hard to kill. Another thing you can do if you have plants that require a lot of humidity is you can actually put them in your bathroom or more humid areas of your house, maybe your kitchen because you're washing dishes a lot, your bathroom, obviously you're showering and stuff in there, there's water going in the sink, they're more humid areas of the house, so those more humid plants or plants that need humidity will do better in those areas of the house. Next, as we're speaking of areas of the house, tip number 3 has to do with lighting. One thing you'll want to do is if you don't have good lighting, you'll want to, for one, try to get low light plants. So Pathos, I think that's how you pronounce it, Pathos, not really sure, does really good in low to medium light. Another tip besides getting low light plants is actually, you probably have one room in your house that has decent light, right? So moving your plants around a lot, or putting all your live plants where there's good light and getting fake plants where there's not so good light. My kitchen unfortunately has horrible light. There's one window and it's on the side, like right next to a huge house that blocks all the light from coming in. So I actually have some fake plants in my kitchen. I have several fake plants. I have like 6 fake plants in my kitchen. But this helps me keep the whole plant aesthetic throughout my home without worrying about constantly moving out the plants from my kitchen. But my living room just gets decent light, so what I'll do is put some of my plants in there for a little bit and then I'll swap them out like from the sunroom. And it's kind of like moving around your furniture. You know how when you move around your furniture, it just feels fresh, like you redecorated or something. I do that with my plants and I really enjoy it. I know the plants love to be moved around because certain parts of your plants are going to be, the sun's going to hit them more. For example, like this side would hit, the sun would hit it more. So you always want to be moving your plants around, spinning them so that the other sides of the plants get as much love from the sun. The next tip that I have is the correct pot. This is a pretty well-known tip, but if you have a drainage plate like this, it's gonna help you keep you from overwatering your plants. If you're someone like me that tends to overwater their plants, definitely get this. Also, when choosing a pot, if you tend to overwater your plants, getting a pot that's more porous, like this terracotta pot, sometimes they can get kind of dirtier looking, but I really like the natural feel of these clay pots. This helps actually soak up the water to keep you from overwatering your pot, your plant. If you tend to overwater like me, getting a watering can like this will really help. I used to just put my plants in the sink and like pour the water in, and that's so bad. It's not bad, but you just tend to very easily overwater them. And then also another tip that plays into that is not using tap water as much. If you are using tap water, you may need to fertilize more often. So the reason being is tap water doesn't have a lot of the minerals that plants need. So if you fertilize, you gotta figure out what kind of plant you have and what kind of fertilizer you're gonna use for how often you do that. You don't need to do it every week or anything crazy like that, but if you're using tap water, you wanna fertilize every once in a while. Or something that I do a lot is I'll put my little babies out in the rain, and that rainwater has a lot more minerals, and they actually like that a lot better. But one thing that happened, this brings me to my 6th tip, is that when I put them outside, I brought some little pests and buggies and worms in, which is really gross. So my 6th tip has to do with pesticides or insecticides. I like to stay as natural as possible, but when I am having a bug issue, for example, like the only real bug issue I've had was gnats, and it was actually because I kept my soil in my house, like my bag of soil. I just forgot about it and didn't think about it, and there were gnats and larvae and disgusting stuff in there, so I had to throw out the big bag of soil. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Every once in a while, if I start seeing gnats, I will use a fungicide in the soil. I also have this other one, insect control, which works really great. Yeah, and that has really helped me get rid of the gnat issues. So these 6 tips to help you keep your plants alive so you're not killing your little plant babies anymore are: get the correct potting mix, make sure you're having enough humidity for your plants, make sure they're getting lighting, move those plants around, they like that. Make sure you get the correct pot, porous, I recommend. Make sure you are fertilizing your plants, especially if you're using tap water. Rainwater works really well for giving them some extra minerals too. And then number 6, watch out for those little pests, because we love our plants to make the space feel alive, but we don't want it to feel like a safari, you know? We don't want larvae under our pillows, you know what I mean? So those are the 6 tips to help you keep your indoor plants alive. Don't lose sleep or money over killing your plants anymore. These 6 tips will really fix all of your issues, I believe. They're just the basic tips that every plant mother should know. When it comes to plants, it's really overwhelming. There's so much information out there, but these 6 tips are really what you need to know as a plant mama or plant father, or if you don't have a specific gender, plant nurturer, plant healer, taker, carer of all plants, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, make sure you also follow me on Instagram. It's at Shani Alexis, ShaniAlexis, Shani Alexis. You can follow me on Twitter too. It's the same thing. And Facebook, I actually have a blog page, and I think it's just Shani Alexis blog or something like that. It'll be easy to find. So yeah, go follow me there and let me know your favorite plant and the plant that you have troubles keeping alive in the comments. Thanks guys. Bye.